Coming up on show 686, how much horsepower is too much horsepower? The 1,000 horsepower Hummer EV. Plus, we're talking about the Renault Zoe. Europeans just love it, new and used. The Tesla Model S Plaid version is going to be raced soon as well. Dyno mode in a Tesla. What's it all about and should you use it? Plus, global EV sales for 2019 are now in. We'll tell you the details coming up on the show today. Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're listening in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, Monday 3rd of February. My name is Martyn Lee, and I go through every EV story so you don't have to. Thank you to myev.com for helping to make this show. EVs and Tea is this weekend at Base Camp in Miami. EVs and Tea is the first event that they have organised. It's MyEV, InsideEVs, along with Evernex, and some of the biggest YouTubers are going to be the guests out there as well. So the people that you watch your favourite EV content on YouTube, go and check them out this weekend on Saturday. It's only a couple of hours long, so it's not going to chew up your whole weekend, but it'll be a great chance to go and meet people, enjoy some of the culture, the music. Exceptional event that's being put on this weekend. Basecamp Miami. Make sure you get your RSVP in by going to the website EVs and Tea, EVSANDTEA. Wish I could go. Although actually the weather isn't too horrific here. It's about 2 degrees C. I'm sure Miami would be a little bit warmer. Okay, let's talk about some new Patreon supporters of this podcast. New Patreon producer Rob Shaw. Thank you, Rob. Joined up a couple of days ago. Took me a while to get around to saying your name. Also a new producer, Wesley Ellis. Thank you, Wes. Or Wesley, full name. Wesley Ellis joining up as a new producer level. And a new producer is Leo. Leo K is how I know that I can say his name and not totally mangle it. Leo's surname is Kuyunzhi. So would that be Kuyunzhi or Kuyunzhi? Leo, look, however I've got your name wrong, please let me know how I should be saying it. An even bigger thank you as well to those who have just ended their Patreon support after a very, very, very long time. Thank you. Barry Peniston and Zack Hurst of evresource.com coming to the end of their support. So, the GMC electric Hummer, the pickup truck that's going to be officially unveiled in May, has already had a fair amount of coverage and indeed info leak onto the internet about the electric pickup truck. Here are the details released so far on what's likely to be General Motors' first production electric pickup, says Eric at InsideEVs. GMC saying that May the 20th is going to be the date that we get to see it. Not all the specs are known, but we do know 1,000 horsepower. Yeah, that is a lot. Even for a heavy truck, 1,000 horsepower is very impressive. 11,500 pound-feet of torque. And that is because I suppose there's going to be a fair few people who get the electric Hummer and want to be towing with it, maybe their caravan, their boat. If you're taking your RV into the weekend, into the forest or something, you want to be able to tow. 11,500 pound-feet of torque and 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, very, very impressive. But you know, that has been Tesla's raison d'etre for, well, since the year dot really, going very, very fast in a straight line. We'll come on to how quickly Tesla can go round corners in just a second in a couple of stories' time. But in terms of how that stacks up, well, the thing is, it all depends on price, doesn't it? Because you need to know the price, and they're not telling us that. What they are saying is that it's going to be fall 2021, in English, autumn. Fall 2021 is going to be the target date for deliveries, but that may slip. A moving timeline, possibly, as they bring that vehicle to market. It's going to be very much one that gets lots of attention from people, lots of PR. But, okay, let's talk Cybertruck because, you know, we have to if we're going to be talking about an electric Hummer. 11,500 pound-feet of torque and 1,000 horsepower. The dual motor all-wheel drive that sits in the middle of the Cybertruck lineup, that is 10,000 pounds of towing capacity. And the tri-motor is 14,000 pounds of towing capacity. So those are the two that you would think would be up there with the kind of torque figure. Now, of course, I haven't got the torque figures for Tesla. All we've got is their towing capacity. But you're trying to draw a line between, well, 1,000 horsepower Hummer, it's probably going to be up there with the tri-motor Cybertruck, isn't it? But then here's the rub. The tri-motor Cybertruck is probably going to be a lot cheaper than the electric Hummer. People are talking about how cheap the Cybertruck is going to be to make with its new production and also the, kind of the new techniques they're going to be using. But even if you go for the very top one, you're going to be getting 3 motors. You're probably going to want to add full self-driving into that as well. I mean, you probably would, wouldn't you? So what would you go for? There's going to be plenty of people who don't like the styling of the Tesla Cybertruck, who want something more conventional, more, Hummery, more Rivian-y, that kind of thing. So it's all setting 2022 probably up to be a really, really exciting year. Well, of course, the Tesla Cybertruck, though, if you go top model on that, and you go for the 0 to 60 of 2.9 seconds, which is bang in line with the Hummer, they are promising 500 plus miles of range. Now, no Tesla can do that at the moment, so we do know they're going to be using new technology to get to that 500 plus miles of range on the very top tri-motor model. Okay, let's move on and talk Renault Zoe. Europeans love the Renault Zoe. The Renault Zoe has retained its title as the fastest selling used car in the UK, with the 2016 variant taking the top spot in the first review of the Auto Trader fastest selling index of the year. Well, the result adds further weight to the prediction from automotive analysts that 2020 is going to be a year of the electric car. The latest figures show that the French city car has the potential to leave forecourts at dealers in just 25 days. Now, I haven't heard of the Auto Trader fastest selling index before. They appear to track how long dealers have cars on their forecourt. So maybe that was the way that it was measured last year. I remember doing a story in 2019 about how the Renault Zoe was the fastest selling used car, not just used electric car, but the fastest selling used car in the entire country. And maybe that was the same Auto Trader thing, but this seems new. This seems, to me anyway, a really interesting way of tracking how long cars stay on dealers' forecourts, and EVs doing very well in this, taking the top spot. The Renault Zoe, of which I'm onto my second one, and I'm not sure, but I think sometime this year we'll probably have our third one. Maybe. If there was going to be one change that I would, you would make, cars are never going to be perfect. We never realised until we became a 3 over December, and so now we need to get a small person into a baby seat in the back of the Renault Zoe. You do sit higher because of the battery, so that's fine. The height is fine, but the door doesn't seem to swing open far enough, and that's probably just me being a bit of a wally. But comparing it to kind of our neighbour's car, and comparing it to a Golf, for instance, I don't know. It seems more of a faff to get the little fella in the back of the Zoe than it really should be. So we're thinking, sometime this year, do we need to get into a more of a crossover style mummy wagon? Do we need to be looking at the bottom end of the price range, the MG ZS EV? And if you go up a little bit, do we need to be looking at the Hyundai Kona and the Kia e-Niro? Of course, the Tesla Model Y wouldn't be here anytime this year in right-hand drive model, and even then we can't afford to buy one of those in cash, and so we're kind of limited. In fairness, when you look at how much the Korean cars are going for, it's going to be a case of us saving up and getting the MG, I imagine, if we want something bigger. But we both just love our little Renault Zoe. Yesterday I popped up to London and back. That's a 200-mile round trip. It'll, of course, do that with just one charging stop. It'll do this time of year about 160 to 170 miles on that. If you drive carefully, leave it in eco mode and just sort of leave the aircon on low. But it was just a pleasurable journey on the motorway for me. Went up to London, came slightly back. There are some pod point chargers on the way home at a city called Winchester, and they're free vend because they're at Sainsbury's, so the supermarket subsidises the charging, and they're 22 kilowatt posts as well. And they're all working again. I did mention last year that out of the 3, it went down to 1 working, so it's always busy, and also I was getting no response from Podpoint. And then a couple of people who work for Podpoint follow me on Twitter. One person listened to the podcast and reached out and said, "Oh, what one is that?" And it was when I was on holiday, because I remember being in Italy last year and getting a message from Podpoint saying, "Oh, we heard your podcast. Sorry about that." And I hadn't used them since, because in my mind I'd written them off. I'm like, there's no point. They don't work. They're all broken. I just stopped using the ones in Winchester. And then yesterday I thought, you know what? I'll have a look online. And I could see 2 out of the 4 were busy. I was like, well, it was down to 1 working, so that's a good sign. And then when the others would work, it'd just be like, on the dashboard it'd say 24 hours to full. They were just, I don't even know what the speed was, but it was trickling in. And then yesterday I went back, and engineers been out, probably been working for months and months and months. I got about 21 kilowatts and a charge speed, which is just brilliant. And then I came home and it's great. So we love the little Renault Zoe, but maybe, I don't know, see some nice reviews for the MGZS EV online. But there's other things as well, like they haven't got the app here. It looks like a little mini e-tron in that it's not very efficient. Very, very not efficient as well. And, same size battery, near as, on the Zoe that I've got at the minute. So I don't know if we'd be trading up that much. I suppose you get a bit more car, but of course it's a bit more money as well. Anyway, I digress. New sales for the Renault Zoe in France were also off the charts. Last month in France, the Renault Zoe was the 3rd best-selling car. It sold 5,331 cars, just behind the fossil cars of the Peugeot 208 and the Renault Clio. It says Pedro at Push EVs. The 5,331 units that were sold, you can add 140 more of those to companies, making a total of 5,471 sold in France last month. Last year, Renault sold more than 46,000 Zoes worldwide, but didn't reach the full production capacity they had of 60,000 units over the year. However, there are more stricter European EU standards starting this year, so Renault will incrementally increase their production at their French factory to 120,000, doubling it, 120,000 by 2022. So, in France, of the E208s that were sold, the Peugeot E208, there were 2,537 sold. Just about 1,200 demo cars and about 700 private sales. That's 1 in 4, by the way. 1 in 4 Peugeot 208s were the E208. And I think they're on sale in this country, in the UK now. Certainly home market of France, they have been. And they were a great little car. Look very nice. I sat in one at fully charged last year. It was a little bit, I don't know, not claustrophobic, but compared to my Zoe, it wasn't such an open feel, but very, it's a Peugeot 208, so it's a nice little car that'll do long journeys occasionally, but mainly for your city driving, and an electric version as well was just what was needed. Haven't driven the E208 yet, so if anyone's got one, listens to the podcast, can I come and have a play? Let's talk Tesla. The Model S Plaid version versus the Porsche Taycan. Round, I don't know, 10 probably. So many matchups have been happening, but a new matchup of not just the regular Model S, the new Plaid version. Rumours suggest that Tesla's Model S Plaid will go up against the Porsche Taycan next week. It'll be Motor Trend doing the testing of the matchup, and will the hottest Tesla they've ever made come out on top? Says InsideEVs. Well, the specs for the Plaid version of the Model S are unknown, but we do know it's going to be out to the public at the end of this year. Ahead of that, Tesla wants to show how capable the Plaid mode is, and sending one to Motor Trend to pit it against the Taycan. You would think the Taycan Turbo S. Tesla says the Plaid mode Model S will get a bigger battery than the other versions. So the range will be high, but of course you've got a dual motor setup on the rear axle and one at the front, Plaid mode being 3 motors. I think the Nürburgring Nordschleife reopens for those track days on the 7th of March. It's closed at the moment, but, it's not to say that it couldn't be booked by a private organisation like a car company or even Motor Trend. Not sure where it's happening, by the way. I mentioned the Nordschleife because that tends to be, people get very obsessed with the Nürburgring time, but I doubt it'll be there. I imagine it'll be somewhere else, probably on probably on American soil, actually, if you're honest. If it's going to be Motor Trend putting a Plaid mode Model S up against the Taycan. How do you activate dyno mode? Not dyno as in dinosaur, but dyno as in a car testing mode. Well, dyno mode can be activated in 3 easy steps for Tesla owners looking to test the performance of their car on the dyno in a controlled setting. The Tesla owner and Drag Times YouTuber Brooks posted a video of how to turn dyno mode on and see how it affected the car, says Teslarati. With dyno mode on, it disables traction control, stability control, and automatic emergency braking. It looks scary as. Warning, do not do this. Do not do this on public roads. It turns off all of the driver help that you get. Bjorn Neeland, one of my favourite YouTubers, did it on an ice track or a frozen lake or something. In other words, far away from anything that he could hit or people that could hit him. And he said it was uncontrollable. I'm okay, it's an ice lake. I know. However, he is used to driving in those conditions, and he said there's just nothing. There's no driver help at all. Uncontrolled power. Regen goes. Look, it's not meant to be driven on the road. Dyno mode is specifically to put it on the dyno. It doesn't play very nicely if you try and drive the car, but it's on Reddit, it's on the YouTube videos. People, you can do it. There's a sequence of buttons you can push. But please don't, Tesla owners, do that if you're going to then drive it on the streets. It looks so dangerous. According to the EV Sales blog, global EV sales are now in, and they're big. About 280,000 plug-in cars were sold in December, just under 280,000 plug-in cars, 4% less than a year ago. While the last couple of months have been challenging because of drops in China, the overall result for last year is positive. 2.21 million cars sold that were plug-ins. Moreover, the average plug-in market share was 2.5, up from 2.1. I know that's not a lot yet, but it just keeps going up all the time. Most of the volume comes from all EVs. So of that number of plug-in cars, 3/4 were pure EVs. That improved its position by 5% year over year. Plug-in hybrid share declined. Model 3 set all-time sales records. Estimated to be about 54,000 for the month, and we do know the official figure of over 300,000 for the year. 300,885 for the year, according to Tesla. The second best last year was the BAIC EU series, the first non-Tesla model to exceed 20,000 in a month, by the way. Okay, mentioned Porsche Taycan already. As if Porsche didn't already offer enough options for the new Taycan, it's now applied their treatment that you can get on its fossil cars. It's called exclusive manufacture treatment. New options have showed up inside and out. You can make your Taycan stand out. You can't specify the sports exhaust system, obviously, but you can, of the 90 extra options, now specify a sport design package, either in gloss black or carbon fibre. It tweaks the front and the rear bumpers for a more aggressive look. Carbon fibre options everywhere. If you want to see your initials on the side of the car, every time you open the door, that'll be £2,000, please. Carbon fibre sill plates with your initials in. Power increases aren't on the option list, though, and although power increases have been offered for previous models, none are yet launched for the Taycan. With over-the-air updates, Tesla has proven that with an EV you can indeed make it go faster just by pushing out a software update. I think the Taycan does have to do that because it's not charging yet as quick as it can theoretically do with its 800-volt battery system. The Taycan charges at 270 kilowatts at the moment on an HPC, and it will go faster, I'm told, but Porsche need to do more testing and then push out an update. Well, from 4 wheels to 2 wings, the electric aircraft startup Wright Electric has started to develop the electric propulsion system for a 186-seat electric aircraft called the Wright 1. Specifically, a 1.5 megawatt motor and a 3 kilowatt inverter, says electrive.com. Designs haven't been finalised, but they're going to use what's called distributed electric propulsion. There's going to be 12 of these motors. Have you seen those aircraft that are like giant drones and they've got a load of fans? Yeah, this is going to be similar. So we are used to seeing aircraft in the sky with, 1, 2, 3, 4 jet engines. This is going to have 12 motors running. Ground tests for 2021, flight test 2023, regular operation 2030. Long way off, but I can't wait for those days. Well, finally, Tesla's updated their warranty coverage for the Model S and the Model X, and it's a mixed bag. The warranty on S and X now explicitly does cover battery deg. So if your battery degradation goes below 70%, it's a warranty issue. But Tesla has removed what was one of the biggest selling points of the car for some people, infinite mile warranty. They used to offer infinite mile warranty for the battery and the drive unit. Now they've put it at 150,000 miles. That's high. If you had a fossil car and after 150,000 miles it was still within warranty, you'd be pretty happy. But it's not exactly infinite anymore, says Electrek. Tesla stated the changes to the performance of the battery because of software updates are not covered by the warranty. Now, they've been doing more and more of this as they learn more about how to manage batteries as they get used and older, and they push out software updates that change maybe how fast they charge and or their capacity. And there was even a class action lawsuit recently with people saying, look, I had the software update from Tesla and it changed the car. Well, Tesla are putting that into the new warranty to say, yeah, we are going to do that, and it will affect your car if we can make it last longer, make the battery more stable, all those kind of things. Okay, question of the week this week. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all and 10 being the only reason, how much does, or if you've bought your EV already, how much did the environment come into your love of EVs? When you bought your car, on a scale of 1 to 10, why did you buy it? Was it all about the environment? So let me know. You can email hello@evnewsdaily.com, leave a comment on socials. Thank you to 231 patrons of the podcast. You do what you do, which means I get to do what I do. If you want to be one of the names that I read out, you can visit Patreon, patreon.com/EVNewsDaily. Thank you to Phil Roberts of Electric Future, my premium partner, Brad Crosby, and Avid Technology. Where there are 685 previous shows in the archive for free, leave a little review on Apple Podcasts and share the podcast if you can to really help me grow the show. In the meantime, come and say hi on socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. Catch you tomorrow. And remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.